everyone, I'm Miss Sandigan of BSEd Filipino 2A. So the topic entitled to me is the fair and safe learning environment. So to begin with, we have here two questions. Um, how do we care with our future students, and how can we able to assess their needs as a future educator? So since we are in the field of education, um, we are destined to study teaching profession as a future teacher. How do we care with our future students? How can we assure them, especially to their parents, that we are giving them the best opportunity or the best way in improving their knowledge and skills in terms of developing in their potential in the school or inside the classroom? Next question is how can we able to assess their needs as a future uh, educator? We need to always bear it in mind that as a future educator, we have students that who are not capable of doing something advanced compared to those students who are fast learners. So uh, we are able to assess their needs, so that's the thing that we need to understand. So next, we have here fair learning environment. So uh, talking about fair learning environment, it is when the teacher's management plan is fair and consistent and organized. That can students understand what to expect, and they can make wise choices and take responsibility. So if we are going to implement, or if we are going to practice fair learning environment, of course we can able to give our students fair treatment. Like if we are going to manage or plan fairly and consistent, as well as to organize the students, it will be able to avoid uh, forms of difficulties in understanding our lesson. Okay. Promoting a fairness in classroom not only gives the teacher a respect, but also gives the students a sense of safeness and trust uh, within the classroom. So as a future educator, we need to get the heart of our students. We need to respect our students so we can gain a respect from them also. So that's a process of a win-win situation. So creating an environment that revolves around fairness, trust, and respect will be beneficial to all of the children in the class. If fairness will start within ourselves as a teacher, so of course your students will uh, do the same. Likely they will be giving equal treatment or fairness with their co-learners. Also, that's what we meant by fair learning environment. So how are we going to treat our students fair and equitable? So first here we have here we need to clear task expectations. Like if we are going to implement, or we are going to practice a clear task expectations, uh, from the words itself, clear. So uh, it will avoid any doubts to the children. You are fair, or we are fair when we assign homework or any other task, and you clearly tell your students what their job is. So in conducting an assignment, or in giving assignment, or any classworks, or uh, activities um, to our students, we need to have a clear instructions, or what the students need to comply or needs to accomplish to avoid any difficulties or barriers, especially to hit the goals and objectives with regards to your lesson. So next is clear class behavior. So having a clear class behavior, uh, we are fair, or you are fair as a teacher. Like what I have said earlier, when you apply class rules that follow your school's code, or school's code of conduct rather, what do we meant by code of conduct? So it is the process where you as a teacher, you are clearly stating what are the do's and don'ts in your class or in your subject. Like for example, during my discussion, or during a teacher's discussion, you are you are giving them your classrooms, like for example, which is students were not allowed to use mobile phones while there's someone talking in front. So that's one of the basic rules could have the teachers must do. He or she must have a clear behavior expectation during his or her uh, discussion. Next is be kind to your students. So regardless of their situation, always choose to be kind. And always understand them. Okay, so if we are going to have a fair learning environment, we have to be kind with our students because we don't know what their current situation. We don't know before judging them. We always look the other side. Why that certain student have that kind of attitude or behaviors in your class. So we need to have a background checking. First, stop comparing them, of course. Being fair, or we are fair as a teacher. If we are stop comparing them, we need to eradicate this kind of situation, this kind of attitude as a teacher, because we all know that each students are unique and have their own knowledge development. So the last one is give them a chance to speak. Okay, fast learner students or fast learners, average learners, or slow learners, they deserve to be given a chance to speak. Whatever their answers are, always give them a chance to speak. Always give feedback, reinforcement to them to strive harder for the next activities or to your next for the next lesson discussion. Okay, so that's under um, fair learning environment. So next we have here safe learning environment. So having a safe learning environment means every student is provided with the opportunity to develop respiratory of course we are going to implement safe learning environment as a teacher. We need to allow our students to go beyond what are the things that they need to develop. What are the needs they need to improve, the skills that they need to master. So with that, they can be able to eradicate or minimize having a feeling of intimidation or abuse. We also have a safe school, so of course, we are going to implement rather a safe learning environment. We should ensure that the school that they are studying, is safe. Uh, and where a teaching and learning are not uh, describe distracted, disruptions, and minimize violence drugs, as what I have said. Uh, Bullying and fear are not present. Okay, like we should always remember that the school are their second home, and we as a teacher serves as their second parents. So we should always assure them that they are safe, that they are not prone to any forms of distraction, any form of noise that could lead them to not focus on the lesson or on the discussion. How to create a safe learning environment. So how are we going to create a safe learning environment? So we have here a list based on research. So we need to incorporate music since it's been shown to reduce anxiety and stress. Um, it also helps students to regulate their emotions, improve focus, and help them process language, of course, as a student or as a student rather, or as an education student, of course, incorporating music or listening to music sometimes can reduce myself into a stress situation wherein I experience being depressed with all the activities, with all the countless performance report, yeah, activities as what I have observed with myself. If I am going to listen to music, it reduces my stress. So second one is read and write with your students. So the more you read and write with your students, the more vocabulary they learn, and they will become better at communicating, of course. If we are going to teach our students how to read and write, it helps them widen their vocabulary, of course, and having a big chance or a great chance to learn and become better in communicating with their teachers as well to their classmates. We also here build trusting relationships. If to create a safe learning environment, we need to build trust relationships. It is very important to create trusting relationships with your students. Of course, if your students are comfortable with you as their teacher, so you can be able to forge a positive relationships with your students. Next is uh, celebrate achievements and work. So implementing this approach in your classroom means celebrating your students' big and small wins alike. So of course, always put in mind that nothing worth achieving comes easy, and in this safe learning environment, it helps students to recognize them, to give them reward in getting or having a good performance, whether it is big or small. Always appreciates their effort, and so that's one of the perfect rather safe learning environment. So for me, as a future educator, we also have here to smile often. Of course, as a teacher, you'll have students look to you for reassurance and guidance. So when you make a point to smile, it can give students a sense of ease and make them feel safe. So if you are going to teach uh, your students, having a blank face expression is like kind of awkward to them. Like having this very strict face to your lesson, it would be not engaging if you are going to continue that kind of attitude. And uh, next is make mistakes a learning opportunity. Yeah, as a teacher, you have a power to frame your students' mistake as a learning opportunity. Always put it in yourself, or always teach your students that failure is one step closer to success. Always put that in your mind, put it in our mind, not in sharing or uh, in teaching students in building their future. Failure is what we can call the spices of everything we could have to worry they could have towards their success. Always remember that as a future educator, because I believe that experience is the best teacher, and based on our experiences, if uh, if we are going to share this to our students, if we are going to tell them our failures in life, I believe that kind of these teaching methods or strategy could help them grow. It could help them to realize the genuine essence of life in learning, or and in their learning experience process. So I think that's the end of my topic. So thank you so much for listening. Um, Always remember that having a safe learning environment are one of the winning qualities of being a future educator. So that's the end of my topic. Thank you and God bless. Bye.